Welcome to Worlds UK, your trusted source for breaking headlines, global insights, and sharp analysis from around the world. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. January 3rd, 2026. A date that will be etched into the memory of a nation. As the sun rises over Venezuela, a sense of anticipation hangs in the air, heavy and electric. Caracas wakes to an eerie silence. The city, usually alive with the sounds of traffic, street vendors, and hurried footsteps, feels suspended in time. Even the birds seem to sing more quietly, as if sensing the gravity of the moment. The city's usual chaos is replaced by disbelief. People gather in small groups, whispering, their faces a mix of shock and cautious hope. For years they have lived under the weight of uncertainty, but today, something fundamental has shifted. News spreads rapidly. Nicolas Maduro, Venezuela's authoritarian ruler, has been captured in a U.S. military operation and is en route to New York to face charges. The story flashes across every screen, every radio, every conversation. In the city's affluent east, cautious celebrations break out. Flags wave, neighbors embrace, hope flickers. For a brief moment, the possibility of change feels real, tangible, within reach. Across the city, families call loved ones abroad, sharing the news in hushed, excited tones. Social media explodes with messages of disbelief, relief, and anxious speculation about what comes next. For years, protests were crushed, leaders exiled, and resignation ruled. The streets that once echoed with chants for freedom have long been silenced by fear and repression. Now the architect of their misery is gone. Relief washes over some while others remain wary, knowing that the fall of a single man does not guarantee true liberation. But the machinery of power remains. The institutions that upheld Maduro's rule, his loyalists, his enforcers, are still firmly in place, watching, waiting. The military, judiciary, and National Assembly are still controlled by Maduro loyalists. Their presence is a stark reminder that the struggle for Venezuela's future is far from over. The Chavista system, built for survival, is far from dead. Its symbols and slogans still dominate the cityscape, a testament to its deep roots and enduring influence. By midday, state TV reveals the new face of power. Delcy Rodriguez, Maduro's loyal vice president, flanked by military commanders, denounces U.S. barbarity and pledges loyalty to Maduro. The message is clear: the regime intends to fight on. Yet, beneath the rhetoric, a new order is taking shape. Behind closed doors, alliances shift and ambitions rise. The power vacuum left by Maduro's capture is already drawing in new contenders. The void is filled not by democratic forces, but by the very system they fought to overthrow. Chavista loyalists rally, determined to preserve their grip on power. The euphoria fades as reality sets in. Removing a dictator is not the same as dismantling his regime. The people of Venezuela are left to wonder if true change is possible, or if history is doomed to repeat itself. As night falls over Caracas, uncertainty settles in. The next chapter in Venezuela's drama is just beginning, and its outcome remains unwritten. The world watches, holding its breath, uncertain what comes next for a nation on the edge of transformation. To truly understand the events that shape 2026, we must first rewind to July 2024, a month that was supposed to mark a turning point for Venezuelan democracy. The air was thick with anticipation, and for the first time in years, hope seemed to flicker across the nation. The opposition, united behind Edmundo Gonzalez and energized by the passionate leadership of Maria Corina Machado, inspired millions. Their campaign rallies drew enormous crowds, and their message of change resonated deeply with Venezuelans desperate for a new beginning. On election day, Venezuelans turned out in record numbers, braving long lines in the summer heat. People from all walks of life, young and old, rich and poor, stood together, determined to reclaim their future and make their voices heard. As the votes were counted, excitement grew. The opposition's parallel vote count, conducted by thousands of volunteers, showed Gonzalez winning by a landslide. Celebrations erupted in opposition headquarters, and hope soared higher than ever. International observers, present at polling stations across the country, confirmed the results. Their reports echoed what Venezuelans already knew: the people had spoken and they had chosen change, but the regime refused to listen. The National Electoral Council went silent for hours, fueling anxiety and suspicion. Then, without explanation or transparency, they declared Maduro the winner, offering no details, no evidence, and no respect for the will of the people. the world watched in disbelief. Foreign governments, international organizations, and human rights groups condemned the blatant fraud. News outlets around the globe reported on the stolen election, and protest signs reading "fraud" filled the streets. Outraged, Venezuelans poured into the streets in protest. Their peaceful demonstrations were met with brutal crackdowns, tear gas, and mass arrests. The regime's response was swift and merciless. The brief window of hope slammed shut. Shops closed, streets emptied, and a heavy silence fell over the country as people watched the news in disbelief, lowering opposition flags in mourning. The stolen election was not just a power grab, it was a declaration of war on Venezuela's democratic aspirations. The regime locked away the ballots, trampled on the nation's flag, and silenced millions. With the military patrolling the streets and repression intensifying, the stage was set for a year of crisis, fear, and resistance, a year that would change Venezuela forever. Four figures defined Venezuela's struggle. Nicolas Maduro, the stubborn survivor, left a legacy of collapse and division. Delcy Rodriguez, his ruthless vice president, quietly consolidated power and managed the crippled economy. Maria Corina Machado, the opposition's uncompromising voice, became a symbol of resistance despite being banned from office. Edmundo Gonzalez, the quiet diplomat and rightful president, was exiled, legitimate but powerless. Each embodied a different path for Venezuela. Repression, survival, resistance, and hope. Their fates would shape the nation's future. After the stolen election, Maduro's regime unleashed a wave of repression. Night raids, arrests, and torture silenced dissent. Opposition leaders faced impossible choices. Maria Corina Machado went into hiding for 11 months, her absence leaving a void. Edmundo Gonzalez, facing arrest, fled to Spain, leaving supporters leaderless. Yet the world noticed. In October 2025, Machado won the Nobel Peace Prize for her fight for democracy. The award transformed her into a global icon and embarrassed the regime. In December, she accepted the prize in Oslo, calling the world's attention to Venezuela's plight. Her speech reignited hope and resistance. The regime's iron fist had tried to crush her, but instead, it made her a symbol the world could not ignore. The stage was set for dramatic change. January 2026 brought a stunning twist. U.S. Special Forces captured Maduro and his wife in a swift raid, flying them to New York to face charges. The Trump administration framed it as a law enforcement action, not an invasion, but the world saw a geopolitical earthquake. In Venezuela, jubilation mixed with unease, freedom, but at what cost? Even opposition leaders worried about the precedent of foreign intervention. The Chavista elite was thrown into chaos, their leader gone, their future uncertain. State media raged against imperialist aggression. But behind the scenes, a frantic power struggle began. Military commanders pledged loyalty to the revolution, but unity was cracking. The chessboard was upended, every piece now in play. Venezuela's fate hung in the balance. In the chaos that erupted after Maduro's dramatic capture, Delcy Rodriguez emerged from the shadows to take the reins as interim president. The country was in turmoil, with uncertainty gripping every corner of Caracas and beyond. Rodriguez, long known as a fierce loyalist and skilled political operator, now faced the daunting task of holding the fractured nation together. Sworn in by her brother Jorge Rodriguez in a tense, hastily arranged ceremony, she projected revolutionary defiance to the cameras. But behind the scenes, she moved swiftly and decisively to consolidate her grip on power, aware that any hesitation could prove fatal. Her hold on the presidency was fragile, threatened not only by a resurgent opposition and mounting international scrutiny, but also by ambitious rivals within her own party who saw an opportunity in the chaos. Rodriguez knew that the military's loyalty was the key to survival. She met with top generals, promising them continuity, stability, and a share in the new order if they stood by her side. Quietly, she sent signals to Washington, hinting at a willingness to negotiate. She understood that the United States was less interested in democracy than in oil and regional stability, and she was prepared to use that leverage. As both vice president and oil minister, Rodriguez had already sidelined many of her rivals and built a network of foreign contacts. Her experience in navigating international sanctions and back-channel diplomacy now became her greatest asset. She quickly positioned herself as a pragmatic leader, eager to do business with the world and restore a sense of normalcy to Venezuela's battered economy. The revolutionary fire she displayed in public was, in many ways, a mask. Beneath it, her true goal was simple: survival, for herself, her allies, and the fragile state she now led. In a matter of days, Rodriguez transformed from Maduro's enforcer to the nation's chief power broker, orchestrating deals and alliances to keep the government afloat. She became the linchpin holding Venezuela together, the one figure preventing the country's total collapse into chaos and uncertainty. As the world watched her every move, Delcy Rodriguez faced the ultimate test of her political life, one that would determine not just her own fate, but the future of Venezuela itself. The Trump administration's response was contradictory. After capturing Maduro, Trump praised Delcy Rodriguez as a pragmatic partner. Despite her Chavista roots, the U.S. shifted from supporting democracy to seeking stability and oil access. Calls to install Edmundo Gonzalez as president were ignored. Democracy took a backseat to American interests. Trump dismissed Nobel laureate Machado, signaling a preference for a compliant partner over a legitimate leader. The opposition and allies, like France, were bewildered by Washington's mixed signals. The U.S. gambled on Rodriguez, believing she could guarantee oil and order. Venezuela became less a nation in crisis, more a resource to be managed. The country's future was now a high-stakes bet on realpolitik. Democracy was sidelined in favor of deals and dollars. The opposition's unity crumbled under pressure. Ahead of the 2025 legislative elections, a bitter split emerged: boycott or participate. Machado, in hiding, called for a boycott, refusing to legitimize a rigged system. Others, like Enrique Capriles, argued for participation to keep a democratic foothold. The result: low turnout, a Chavista landslide, and a propaganda victory for the regime. The opposition's disunity handed total control to Maduro's party. Their weakened front made it harder to challenge the regime when the crisis peaked. The dream of a united democratic alternative faded. Venezuela became a test case for global power politics. The U.S. capture of Maduro signaled a new era of unilateral action, prioritizing oil and stability over democracy. Washington's embrace of Rodriguez exposed a shift from ideals to interests. Allies like Brazil and France were sidelined. Oil became the central prize. The human struggle for freedom was overshadowed by resource politics. Venezuela's fate reflected a world where democracy is easily sacrificed for strategic gain. The nation's future now hangs between authoritarian pragmatism, a fractured opposition, and U.S. self-interest. 30 million Venezuelans wait as the world's priorities play out on their soil.